Good afternoon, subscribers and viewers. I hope you're all having a wonderful Winter Friday. I'm not here to talk about a lot of things, but only to respond to some questions that we're getting about the Zimbabwe exemption permit applications, the movement from the ZEP to the mainstream South African permit. We've been getting questions during the past few weeks on why we're no longer updating people about these applications and the processes, uh, including questions on whether or not there's been any changes in relation to the application process or the qualification process. Well, what I can tell you is that the reason why we have not been updating is because there hasn't been anything new in as far as the passport decision or this, in as far as the ZEP decision is concerned. There's been no movement on the part of South Africa. The decision to suspend the ZEP still stands, and there's been no changes as to how one can qualify for to move from the Zimbabwe exemption permit to the other South African permits. So the requirements as per the South African Immigration Act still stands. We hear, of course, that there are still ongoing decisions on what to do to ensure that none of the Zimbabweans that are holding the Zimbabwe exemption permit miss out or become undocumented, because the South African government, despite all this political rhetoric, understands that there is no way that 173,000 Zimbabweans who will be, or the majority of them who would be criminalized or illegalized rather in South Africa if all their permits are cancelled, would then return back to Zimbabwe. Because you would remember that Zimbabweans did not come to South Africa after the rolling out of the special dispensation permits. What actually happened is that the South African government realized that the movement of Zimbabweans into South Africa would not stop, and it was increasing, if anything. And that number, because of the arrests and deportations that were happening regularly, people were then seeking solace in the refugee application process, whereby they were going to Pretoria and other centers to apply for asylum seeker permits. At the end of the day, they ended up blotting the system. They ended up flocking the system. They ended up increasing the backlog of the application process, when most of them did not qualify to be treated as refugees in South Africa, because they were economic and not political refugees. So they were not fleeing. Many of them were not fleeing any form of conflict. They were fleeing the economic downturn in Zimbabwe. So they ended up, because they wanted to legalize themselves so that they are able to work in South Africa, they ended up applying for the refugee seeker permits. So the South African government knows that. They even noted that when they gazetted in 2017 the white paper on international migration. So now what is happening is that there are negotiations which are still going on, although we do not expect the requirements of the Immigration Act to be shifted to cater for Zimbabweans who are applying from the ZEP for any other mainstream South African permits. We expect that the South African government is going to, after reaching out a compromise or reaching out an agreement with other SADC countries, they may roll out what is called the White Paper on International Migration, which provides for three types of permits: the the SADC work visa, which is more or less the same as the Zimbabwe exemption permit, and is a political decision again as the Zimbabwe exemption permit, but offers a chance for Zimbabweans or for SADC country residents to apply for some quota permits. Then the second one is the SADC traders visa, which caters for cross-border traders. And then the SADC SMEs visa, which caters for those who are self-employed, and those who are running their small businesses. So we hope that because the South African government, Minister Thulas Nxesi, when he recently published what is called the new labor migration policy, made mention of the white paper on international migration, and that the government would consult both the people that is residents of South Africa and neighboring countries from the SADC region to try and see how this can be well worked out. We hope that he actually meant that they are going to discuss the contents of the white paper on international migration and how it can be rolled out. So that is the update that we have right now. There's been no changes as per the Zimbabwe exemption permits or the movement therefrom to other South African permits. But as soon as we get any update, we will come back here and let you know. For now, if you do not qualify for any of the permits that are on offer according to the Immigration Act, please don't waste your time, don't waste your money, don't waste your energy applying. Don't even pay anybody who promises that they can get you some underhand permits or some or that they can cut corners with Home Affairs and get you some permits, because at the end of the day, the South African Home Affairs Department is busy checking the permits that were given out from 2004 up to now, because, with a view to cancelling some of them, because they believe that there are several of them that were issued out fraudulently and others that cut corners because people paid some officials at the Home Affairs Department. So don't indulge in a process that will give you a fake permit, because at the end of the day, after losing so much money, you stand to lose out or even get arrested. And you know that when you've been caught out and your permit has been cancelled, it means that your accounts will be frozen and a number of things that you would have acquired using that particular permit would be lost in the process, and you stand a chance of being arrested for fraud and sent to prison, which is what we don't wish to see happening. And also would urge our fellow Zimbabweans to respect South African laws so that the South African complaints against Zimbabweans is off. We have to respect the South African government, the South African citizens, and the South African institutions for the leniency that they've always extended to us as Zimbabweans here. Let us not be the poster boys and poster girls of trouble in South Africa. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend. Meet you again next week.